Right.
Hello, this is Audio Heads with Geeks Assembled, and it's just Lee and me today. Lee and me, and that rhymes kind of sort of thing. Smile. And today we're talking about a Sixth Doctor adventure. With it was actually a 4-part box set, and it's called Breaking Bubbles, and it's got Colin and Nicola, and the in this part of their livelihood, or in this part of their character arcs, they're really, really, really gelled together, and I like that. And so I just wanted to find out what Lee thought about the stories. Lee, would you please your thoughts about each of the 4 stories, or the whole Michigas?
Yeah, well, they usually do one of these a year, don't they? One with 4 different stories, and this was from when was it? Several years ago.
14 years, or 2014. Sorry.
2014. Yeah. So yeah, Breaking Bubbles and Other Stories. Thank God for Big Finish for giving Colin Baker the second chance of proving that he is a damn good doctor. And they have, and his stories in Big Finish have been really well written, thought out, way better than his TV, 10 years ever thought out. But we won't dwell on his TV outings. Big Finish is where he lives, and he reigns supreme. Yeah, the first story, called Breaking Bubbles. Yeah, it's for me personally, out of the 4 stories, this is the weakest story out of the 4. Because it's just a simple story of they land on a prison ship. Nothing, what it seems, and of course, within a few minutes, the Doctor and Peri are already in trouble. They've landed in a room with the prisoner, and whole hell breaks loose. It's a fun idea that that the prisoner's been planning this sort of escape for a while, using technology for is it holographic technology?
Yeah, it's like building world building on a grander scale. She's created basically a whole planet inside the ship, right?
Yeah. I mean, it's a great idea, but for me personally, this one is the weakest of the 4. But it's still a damn good story, and it's still well acted. But that for me, that's my personal opinion. I mean, other people who listen to this will most think another one of these 4 stories is weaker than the other, but it goes like that, doesn't it? Yeah. Well, that's opening thoughts on Breaking Bubbles. What do you think?
Okay, Breaking Bubbles, in and of itself is, it's cool. It's like an outer space sort of swashbuckling story. It's fun. I like her technology, and I like the fact that it sucked Peri into talking about botany, because there was like the whole garden, and Peri hadn't been showing off her botanical abilities. I mean, it kind of was casually mentioned in either Planet of Fire or Caves of Androzani.
Yeah.
But either place, her botany was talked about casually. This is like she got into it with this lady, and all of a sudden she finds out that it was all just a picture. And she was and I like the way that they were that they were used. I like the way that they moved through the story. It was really quite interesting, actually.
Yeah, it's who wrote it? L.M. Miles. Good concept. Yeah. Very good concept.
Did he write all 4 stories?
No, 4 different authors, and to be honest, I don't know if L.M. Miles is female or male. To be honest,
Who
I
knows?
did. I did listen to the like sort of documentary at the end of the disc, and they did
Oh, you
mention. Yeah, but I can't remember if they said it was male or female. To be honest, but hey ho,
yeah,
well,
yeah,
well written.
yeah. And my my thoughts about this, my overall impression of the story is that it was pretty standard. It was a pretty standard science fiction story. Good.
That's the word. It's standard. It wasn't above standard. It was a standard to begin with.
Yeah, it was like Stargate or Star Trek or one of those. It was pretty middle of the road. Anyway, I enjoyed it. Let's move on to talk about
I like the title of this.
of Chaos Time or something like that, right?
Yeah. Of Chaos Time and the title says it all.
Yeah.
This, whoa, it's. I like it. It's. I mean, I've listened to this story a few times. I listened to it when I first got the disc and re-listened to it again. If you don't understand it the first time, you've got to re-listen to this one because it's all about time, and not in the right order.
No.
Hence the title of Chaos Time
Yes.
But it's the Doctor. This is one where we're hearing the thoughts of the Doctor because he doesn't know what's going on. So we're sort of inside the Doctor's head while he's trying to figure out what's going on with this. Was it? Is it an experiment with time and?
Yeah,
stuff?
it's like a bomb. They're trying to weaponize time travel or weaponize time disintegration, actually. So yeah, it's a little different than you'd expect.
And it's a lot of time hops or jumps backwards and forwards. There's a baby at 1 minute and then teenager the next, then a man the next, or they're back to a baby, and it's all as the New Who saying goes, timey-wimey.
It's the same character, that baby, that teenager, and that old man. You're right.
Yeah, it's backwards and forwards. So you've got to really concentrate on this one. This is why I always say for this one, maybe a couple of listens for this one, but it's still an enjoyable story. And Colin Baker, he is awesome in this one. It really is. And Mark Ravenhill, who wrote this, I wouldn't know how to start to write a story like this unless he wrote all the pages and then just threw them up in the air. And that when they landed, that's how he put the story together. I don't know.
Oh.
But yeah, it's a pretty good story. It's not a standard sci-fi one because it's a complicated one.
Really?
It is, yeah.
Quite intricate.
Yeah, that's my opinion of Chaos Time
Yeah. I liked the fact that the character had no concept of what was actually being done to him, but the bomb had actually worked. It actually sort of fragmented the Sixth Doctor's timeline and put him in different orders, and Peri was in different places as well. She was carrying on in her fragments, but that was intricate. It did take me 2 listens to get that, and I think maybe I needed a third. I like the way that it fit together. It was sort of like a puzzle. It was like there were like pieces that you needed to know to keep going, and then to have it all resolved at the end. The like um, the 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 resolution was at the same time as the actual cause at the very
Yeah.
end, instead of like uh, the you
The end,
know
the end is the beginning, and the beginning is the end, sort of thing.
yes, quite right. Yeah, so that was you know interesting and difficult because you didn't really have the information, but you had little bits. So, and the way it fit together was intriguing, and so I enjoyed it, and I think that this one, well, I will tend to agree with Lee that this one was stronger than the first part of the thing.
Yeah, because this one did make you think. It made you think more.
Yeah,
As I say, it wasn't a standard story,
yeah.
which is no bad thing.
So that's of Chaos Time and let me see.
Uh,
The next one was the historical story,
an
An Eye for Murder.
Eye for Murder by Una McCormack. Now, do you know? I don't know why I know that name. I
I
know
don't
that
either.
name, Una McCormack. I'll have to look her up.
Well,
But,
there's Una Stubbs, but that's a different lady. Um, but yeah, so this one takes place at a school,
yeah,
a school in the 30s, right?
1939. Yeah.
So like around the time of just as the world was entering World War II.
Hmm.
And so go for it. Your thoughts about this, Lee?
I enjoy I enjoyed this one because when it first starts, you think, oh, it's just going to be a purely historical mystery about the poison pen letters in the school, in the girls' school. But then it sort of takes a turn with the stone eye,
Yep.
um, which I thought, well, it was a good addition, but I don't know if you needed that. I mean, the story could have worked, or well, just as Peri and the Doctor trying to figure out the culprit. But then they had the sort of sci-fi to it. It works well, and this time as well, you've got Peri sort of being pushed to the forefront as the mystery writer, and the Doctor as her assistant, um, which is a good twist.
Yeah, kind of. But she was actually playing someone who was like supposedly in Hollywood.
Yeah, she was. They mistook her for a murder mystery writer or something like that.
Yeah.
So she didn't even know what they were talking about when they was going on about her books. Um, but I mean, I did like what's her name, Dr. Petherbridge in this. The sort of was it
Yeah.
headmistress of the school, played by Janet Henfrey. Now she's back in the day in McCoy's last season was in Case of Fenric as the
Oh
as the
yeah.
as the woman. You wicked children.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Like the house marm.
yeah, yeah. But she was. Yeah.
I remember that. That's
Well,
fun.
I was listening to it. I was listening to it, and I'm thinking, I know the voice. I just know the voice. So I had to look at the name, and I thought, right, I'm gonna have to Google. Oh, right, yeah, Kes Fenry. But yeah, it's a good story. It has the. I know there wasn't any sort of science fiction in the story. What I'm going to say, Black Orchid. There was no sort of science fiction element in that story, but it sort of had that feel, that era, the you know, old English, you know, girls' school and all proper English, and not just like Black Orchid was back in the day. Yeah, enjoyable. Yeah, it was a
Like Saint Trinians. No, I'm just kidding. We've reviewed St. Trinians. That's why. That's the only reason I mentioned it.
But yeah, it is a good story. I mean, out of the four, it's leading up to the last story. I enjoyed this and the one before that equally.
Huh?
They
Okay.
were on par together.
Oh.
The first one, it was just a standard story, but enjoyable, and say all the acting in it, just wonderful. I mean, all these voice actors,
Yeah.
you can't top them, can you?
Yeah. The one standout moment on this one that I thought was great was that Peri was actually like the clever one, and the doctor was her assistant, and so every so often he had to go type something,
Yeah.
and and that gave him time to think, of course, but it also lended itself to a lot of humor. It was quite genuinely funny. Yes.
Ah, right. I've got just Una McCormick, the writer of this. Ah, right.
Yeah.
She has written her fan fiction based on television series Star Trek Deep Space Nine. Been published in anthology books by Pocket Books and stuff like that.
Oh, nice.
She has written 4 Doctor Who novels for the new series adventures. Maybe that's where I've heard her name. Ah, there you go.
How interesting. Very cool. And I like how they've brought writers and uh, ideas from all of these different sources.
Yeah.
And I'm amazed. Big Finish is has the richness. It is quite lovely.
To be honest, I think Big Finish attract better and talented writers than the TV series does. To be honest,
Yeah.
and the performances are for me are far superior. I mean, that's only voice. When you use your imagination for audio, like for the writing, I think the writing is so up there and better than what you see on the TV screen.
Quite right. Yeah.
It's a shame. It's a shame the TV people don't think, oh, let's use some of those writers.
That would be wise.
Yeah.
But you know, who's talking about wisdom? We're talking about the BBC here.
Ooh.
Ooh, I know. I'm not gentle about that one, eh? And let's see.
Now this is the real reason why we're doing Breaking Bubbles. The next story.
The next story is the curious incident of the Doctor in the nighttime, and it was written by Nev Fountain, and it's based on the book, which was also turned into a play.
Yeah.
And it's a beautiful story. So go ahead. Your thoughts, Lee.
Well, apparently, Nev Fountain, who wrote the story, got the idea from when he went to see the play of the Doctor nighttime thing. Long title.
Curious incident of the dog in the nighttime,
Yeah.
which I just saw.
And while he was coming out of the watch it after the play, he was thinking of putting this. He could sort of create an idea for putting the Doctor in it somehow, and thought of using the actor from the play, which was Johnny Gibbon,
Yep.
as the lead in this audio, which it worked so well. So, and he also writes. Nev Fountain always writes well for his other half as well, which is Nicola Bryant. They're a husband and wife. So
Nev Fountain is Nicola's husband.
is Nicola's other half.
Oh, I didn't know that. That's fun.
So, but yeah, it's a really damn good story. And so we thought of doing this because Susan went to see the play, about a month ago?
Yeah, quite. Yes.
And we thought, right, we'll have to do this, because somehow it was in the back of my mind. Doctor Who had sort of done a variation on this, and it was on this set here. Good story about an autistic boy.
Yeah.
Which, yeah, okay, autistic boy, but he does do some funny things in it, and we're seeing it from his point of view. He's telling the story. He's saying this, that, the other, and, you know, and he does things what his father doesn't like him doing, because he always gets him into trouble. But it is a damn good story, and it's about gnomes from outer space and killer gnomes, killer droid gnomes, and also the man with the yellow trousers at the bottom of the garden. Yeah, very good story. For me, this is the best one of the four.
Yeah.
It's really enjoyable, and the performance from Johnny Gibbon as Michael, as the autistic boy, brilliant. Really enjoyed this one.
Yeah, I enjoyed it as well. I thought that the story itself was sweet. It's a bit bittersweet because you find out where his father went, but you have Sixie being criticized by an autistic kid who has in his abilities, his super abilities. I mean, autism doesn't just give you a disability; it actually, gives you some quite pointed abilities. And
it empowers you.
What?
It empowers you.
It empowers you, yeah. And his was math and counting, and he was criticizing Sixie, and he really enjoyed talking with Peri, who had a man's name, and so I just really enjoyed that. He criticized Sixie for having the yellow trousers that he wore all the time, which was dirty.
Yeah. Don't you have a chin?
And he didn't realize that Time Lord outfits never get dirty unless they're in war. So that's something that he didn't know, a little piece of information that he didn't know, but he knew everything else. And he knew how to solve mysteries.
He knew how many gnomes there were.
And he knew exactly how many gnomes there were.
I thought there when he started to count how many gnomes and say what the difference is because of all the gnomes. There was 139 gnomes or something like that. I'm thinking, we're going to go through every single one.
So, probably at the end of the play, they did in the one where Gibbon played the lead. They probably did the how he solved the math question, and in this one they could have done his dissertation on the gnomes and their differences, and the reason the gnomes were sent to Earth was to trap them in a nitrogen or oxygen rich atmosphere so that they were basically immobilized and looked like little garden ornaments.
Yeah.
And that was fun. And so yeah, this one was so powerful. The way that the Sixth Doctor and Peri talked to the autistic kid was amazing. It was super empowering, like you said. It was, and that's one of the things that I love about Doctor Who, is that these people who get sort of in the atmosphere of these these characters are empowered and strengthened and built up, and they become stronger, better versions of themselves.
Yeah,
And so I really love that. I love that, and I love that about the show. And I love the fact that Sixie and Peri are together stronger now, and more unified, and more and more even keeled. It was just it's a it's a
mm,
lot. There's been a lot of character growth by this point in their lives,
yeah.
and
That's all down to Big Finish, really.
yes.
The, and they also have done the same for Paul McGann as well.
Oh gosh.
Both Colin Baker and Paul McGann have, in my opinion, are the ones what have really, really have what's it? They've really dealt them the ace card for
Yes.
the they've given them life after the show, because those two was never given a chance.
Yeah.
Uh, all the other doctors did have chances with several seasons. So, but those
And
two,
complete seasons, and long story arcs and stuff like that.
so
And
they have given them life after after their short reign, shall we say?
yeah.
But, and also as well in this story, tip at home, folks: never light candles in a hardware store.
No, don't. All the little sprinkler systems go off. That was cute. That was really cute. Yeah.
Yeah.
So, would you like would you like to rate the whole box set, or would you like to do individual ratings?
Um. Should we do individual?
All right.
Right. So what we do? Breaking Bubbles. Standard. Um. I I'd give it a 7.
Yeah, I give it a 7.5. Yeah, I agree. That's close. That's pretty darn close. Yes.
Yeah.
Okay.
Of,
So
was it of Chaos Tam the
yes.
better? So that last one was 7. I'm giving this 8.5.
Yep. I agree. That's.
And for An Eye for Murder, I'm going to give the same 8.5 because I enjoyed it.
Eye for Murder. I'll give An Eye for Murder a 9. I
Mm-hmm.
enjoyed it a lot. I like the the feel of it. It was great. And so the curious incident of the Doctor in the nighttime.
It's a 10. It's a 10.
Yeah, definitely.
So the story
And
is, as they went along, got better and better.
and I was reading a review, and of the curious incident of the Doctor in the nighttime, and they were like an autistic kid who likes math, who argues with the Doctor. Who could that be? Adric.
Uh,
You know, if you wanted to perhaps ascribe a reality in this universe and on this planet, perhaps he would be in that realm.
would you call Adric autistic or just annoying?
I don't know.
Because
I, I just I was just
at the time.
I was just interested by that one little aspect of that one review that I read. I
Yeah,
was like, huh.
I never thought of it that way. And also as well, going about Sixty and Perry, they're getting their own box set next year.
Oh, terrific! That's wonderful.
Like the Eighth Doctor gets a box set, 4 stories, or the Lucy Miller stories, stuff like that. They're getting a volume 1 of 4 different stories.
Oh, another one of these sort of mixes of.
I
That's
don't know.
fun.
It's
maybe with a story arc and a character. That's fun.
yeah. I don't know when it's out, but I saw it advertised on the Big Finish site about a week or so ago. The cover's up already. You know, Sixth Doctor and Peri box set, Volume 1, or Sixth Doctor Adventures box set, something like that. So
that's quite exciting.
I think they're going to go. I think the Big Finish are starting to go down the route of just doing box sets instead of single releases.
Well, that single release that we listen to is sort of its own box set, right?
Yeah, you're right there. But there's only 2 discs. In a box set, there's usually 4, isn't there?
Oh, quite right. Yeah. So there'll be more. Yeah.
Stories will be longer. But I'm looking forward to it. It keeps my my Doctor Who classic enthusiasm going.
Very good. So, thanks for listening to this with me. That was great fun.
It was. I enjoyed it.
And would you like to perhaps choose something for the next time that we meet, or shall we just leave the listeners and watchers of this podcast hanging?
In suspense.
In suspense.
A cliffhanger till next time.
Yeah.
Yeah, but yeah, we'll leave it as a cliffhanger.
Okay.
We'll decide what we're going to do, shall we?
Okay.
Because I've got no idea.
All right. Well, you will be surprised as we will. Then, Lee and fellow listener and watcher, please like and subscribe. I hope that you're subscribing to this channel and that you're actually staying up to date with us. It would be great if you who subscribed to this would watch our videos and like them and
just give us a thumbs up every now and again. We're quite happy.
Yeah.
With that.
So thank you, and thank you for doing that. And if you'd like to do podcasting, talk to Lee here. or over there, whichever direction he is from me.
I'm all over the place.
Yeah. So thank you and good day.
Bye now.